Hello, Renee Flamond here. You guys, we have to talk about this Hoover business. There are people getting called back into these relationships and they're still going, and it makes me so nervous and worried for them. And I feel like when you're new to it and you just had the rug pulled out from you and you were just broken up with and they call you back to get back together and you're so upset, you're dying to get for that phone call. You're dying to hear them tell you all those words that they're going to tell you during the Hoover, which are normally love bombing because they're trying to get you back, but not for the reasons you think. What is vital to see about this Hoover business, first let's define it. It's the act of the narcissist after you break up, where they're going to keep calling you and trying to get, and excessive. You could get 39 messages in a row. They could send you flowers. They could leave you messages 100 in a row. It's usually excessive. Doesn't have to be. So don't think it's not a Hoover because it might only be 3 phone calls or 2 messages. The essential part to remember about the Hoover, it's vital, is it has nothing at all to do with him or her wanting to get back together with you. I'm sorry. I know that stings. New people are hearing that and they're going, and they're going to turn this off and not listen. Please listen. What the Hoover attempt has to do with, and I'm going to explain it all as best I can in 15 minutes or so. It has to do with power. Establishing it, or reestablishing it, luring you in with it, controlling you with that power, giving them more power. That's their trip. That's their goal, right? It's not that someone is pining away for you and missing you and they can't live without you. So here they've realized now, and they're saying everything that you wanted them to say. It happens the same with all of these kinds of people. They will tell you all of those things. They will use that love bombing language in the message, in the card with the flowers, if they stop by your house, if they have a message to you from somebody else. But it isn't about they miss you and want to get back together with you. There's a distinct difference if that is someone's truth and hoovering you is a narcissist's truth. It's not about love. They just use love, delivered with the love bombing, which we've already talked about plenty, during the hoovering to unleash their power. It's truly maniacal. It's quite cruel. And I'm going to let's go all into this. The up and down of a Hoover is of particular note to me. And this is in line when I say you'll know if it's not a narcissist and they're really just, that can happen. When I say normal, I mean not narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, so that's what I mean by normal, right? So I feel like if you have a normal breakup, a normal person, and they come to their senses and they miss you and they love you and they want to get back together, a tale as old as time can happen, sure. If someone does feel that way, here's the difference with a Hoover and a healthy person doing that. They're going to express to you they miss you. They're going to express to you they love you. They're going to express to you they learned their lesson, right? A narcissist, they will change their loving tune eventually if you don't affirmatively respond. I know you know what I mean, those of you who have been through it. They're all lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey. Message 39 is lovey-dovey. Say you're holding fast to your no contact. Say you've done it. You haven't answered them. You haven't responded back. The second you do, unless it's, oh, yes, honey, please come back to me, they're going to flip and do a 180 right into name calling, saying, I knew you were playing games, devaluing you, screaming at you in the subsequent messages. It's going to flip. Whereas, and I don't mean, it might not be right away. They might continue to try to plow through your refusals. So again, don't you, because we all look for signs. They're not a narcissist. They can change. They're coming back to me. So if they do have the fortitude to weave through your refusals and continue love bombing, just wait. If you hold steadfast and you don't budge, you will see their behavior go to the negative. And I'm here to tell you something about the Hoover. And I've talked about this a lot. You can find many videos of this in the first 500 of this series. But it's vital to talk of because there's people new going through it right now. And you're waiting for that phone. Your heart drops when they're calling you. It might be a month that you've heard from them. It might be 2 weeks. And all you want is for them to call you. Because you want to feel validated. You want to know that your relationship meant something. You want to hear some words of affirmation from them to make you know it wasn't all for nothing. You meant something to them. That's what we're hoping for. And if you're still in it and you can't shake them, you want to get back together deep down inside. Or so you think. I'm here to tell you that when somebody is hoovering you and calling you and trying to get you back together, when I say it's about power, what I mean is it could go like this. Call, 39 messages left. You wake up in the morning. This has happened to me, this exact thing. Oh, I finally would relent, say. Once I knew I was in the clear, I wish I didn't even do this. Well, you live, you learn. But once I knew I was in the clear, my heart, it was more like, what? My God, you called me all night. What is the problem? Eventually, that would turn into, okay, I'm in town. Okay, come over for coffee. Laid on the language thick. I miss you. It's all about you. I can't be without you. By noon that day, he's off again. Back to pursue someone else. He just wanted to know that he could get me to say, oh, all right, we'll try again. I missed you too. Now, I didn't do that. I didn't fall into love language of my own. But he would lay it on thick, and I would let him in eventually, right? And when he would leave again, I told you once before, I ended up singing Gladys Knight, neither one of us, in the kitchen at the top of my lungs while crying. Well after we had broken up. Why? Because it happened to me again and I was so mad at myself. And I knew it was a final goodbye months before that. I had decided in my own mind that person isn't for me. So what you have to do is look, well, you don't have to do anything. I'm not telling you what you have to do, but what helped me is you look at that individual, all of them, what they've done to you, all of the cons that are listed in the con column on the pro-con list. And you say to yourself, is this the kind of person that I want in my life? Now, if they've had infraction after infraction, logically, your answer is going to be, well, no, of course I don't want this person in my life. Your heart is going to tug at you and say things that don't make any sense. Like, well, I just can't describe it. I just have to be with him. Nobody makes me feel like he does. I hope not. Because it's a terrible place where they leave us, usually. Even if you had a wonderful time with them, you had 3 blissful months in the beginning, they swept you off your feet. That was them putting on a show for you. I cannot make that clearer. That is not the real them. This person now that you're seeing, dysfunctional, hateful, horrible things they say to you, that's the real them. They go through life this way, dysfunctional. And they'll pick someone else and do the same cycle to them. And they're already pursuing someone while they're hoovering you. You don't think a narcissist can be alone, do you? So, for example, mine would go away for like a month to another part of the state. Then he'd come back once a month. Oh, but it's all you. I knew he had others. I said, are you out of your mind? But there were those 1 or 2 times that I kicked myself that I allowed him in the house. Let's have coffee, whatever. And it just killed me because I wish I just maintained no contact and he couldn't have gotten in any more times. I'm not even as worried about them getting back into your life, back together with you, as I am staying in your mind and your heart. That is a hard bond to break. And when they're hoovering you with all these phone calls, it's very tempting to... And even if they're not, it's very tempting for you to reach out to them. Well, why aren't they calling me? We all know why they're not until they do. They say every narcissist eventually hoovers you because their goal is to leave you wanting for them. Their goal is never to burn a bridge. They don't want, even if they've mistreated you, they still know that you are trauma bonded to them, even if they don't know the word. And so they're trying to keep like a fish line out to you so that the door stays open should they need you if their new supply goes awry. They want to keep everyone on the hook. They call it the bench. We're all bench warmers. They want to keep every line open. So they're going to keep dropping you a line with, I love you though. I know it didn't work out. One day maybe you'll see that I'm for you and I'm going to get my life together and come back for you. This person means nothing. I'm just passing time until you tell me you want me back. And then you find the second you say that, or the second you get back to them, then they're off and they don't call you back. That just, I mean, if you've gone through that, you know exactly what I mean. And I can't, if you haven't yet, I can't describe to you what that feels like. They've been pursuing you for 2 weeks, constant phone calls. You finally text them back or leave them a message, and it's crickets, silence. They don't even call you back. So again, I use the normal person, non-disordered, as an example. If that were a normal person, first of all, it wouldn't be 39 desperate, in the middle of the night, in a row messages. It would be a normal course of action. I've been thinking of you. Maybe they send you a note, a text, an email, flowers. They're trying to apologize for what they did, explain their behavior. Can we set a meeting? These are all normal things, right? And then you call them back. Guess what? They receive your call. Or if they're not available, they call you. Oh, I'm so glad to hear from you. Thank you for returning my call, Renee. I really appreciate that. Do you think there's anything left here? I think there might be. It's a healthy exchange. It's not so manic and desperate and emergent. They make it sound like they're going to die if they don't talk to you. And then the second you get back, they disappear. That's because it was controlled. They just wanted to see if you would respond. They wanted to see if they still got it. Do I still got it with her? I still have it. She called me back. Okay. That one's sealed. Let me move on. They're not actually trying to get back with you. Now, some of you might say, no, he was. We did. Okay. How is it going? Because Hoover attempts can definitely result in people getting back together. But that doesn't cure, the narcissist isn't cured of their disorder. You're just setting yourself up for another cycle. So you're back together with them. They've love bombed the death out of you during Hoover. You believed it. We've all been there. All of us. Every single one of us. Well, actually, 1 or 2 of you did a 180 first shot and never looked back. You know who you are because I talked to you. That takes some strength. That does take some strength. But when you have a hole like I did and you allow them to come back a few times, however many times it takes, you end up in the same cycle. They'll devalue you. They'll leave or you'll throw them out, which was my case, and then back with the Hoover. You could be going along with a great weekend with your friends, family, whatever. It's been weeks, it's been months, and all of a sudden your phone rings and your heart goes, just because it's a trigger to all those chemicals, that rush of endorphins and dopamine from love bombing, and adrenaline and cortisol from the devalue and the fighting. It all comes back because you see their number. That's why they tell you to block them, so that you don't even have a chance to see that. You don't have a chance to see if they're hoovering you. You won't even hear their messages. Well, technically, I know on iPhone, you can still leave a message. It'll be in blocked messages. I caution you against this Hoover, especially people new to this. It is a part of the cycle. It's as regular as love bombing, devalue, triangulation, gaslighting, Hoover. It's part of it. That's why they gave a name to it, like a vacuum cleaner. They suck you back in. Please keep an eye out for this. Please, please, please. And I beg you, if you're tempted to get back to them, please just try to think hard about what they did to you. Don't overlook it. Don't accept the excuse they're leaving you on the voicemail in the Hoover. Look at the act that they did to you. Is that a person that you want to be in charge of your feelings, to be connected with you in life? Can you trust them? I know the answer is forever no with any narcissist anywhere. And if you say yes, you need to look at yourself. Because if somebody continually hurts you, that is not a person that you can or should trust. Same in the Hoover phase. You can't trust anything. They're going to say anything they have to because their goal is to get you to bite. And when you bite, they win. When you bite, they win. And that's all they wanted. So if you, all right, I'll just call. Boom, that's all it took. We didn't even have to have coffee. He didn't even have to come over. He won the second I checked on him the next morning. Are you all right? 39 messages. Driving 3 hours from South Florida to here. Where are you? What are you doing? That's all it took. He wanted to know that he could still summons me to reach back out. Now, a point does come where you don't anymore, and you're fed up, and they never hear from you again. It takes many times for you to tell them, go away, go away, go away, and it takes many times for you to demonstrate that you mean to them, go away, go away, go away, which is where no contact comes in, gray rocking, whatever the maximum that you can do. Sometimes you can't. No contact if they're in your life. You share children, business partner, friends, family, whatever it is. But once they sense that you are no longer in business to receive their Hoover, they'll eventually move on. But you got to give them that message loud and clear. Be careful, my friends. I don't like to see anybody going through this because the hoovering is just one more attempt to dupe you, right? That's what they're doing. And I'm so sorry, new people that are going through this, because I know you feel bad. I was looking up things like, well, is he really a narcissist? Maybe he's not. Maybe he can change. Because you know if they have this disorder, they can't change. So you're looking for something, and well, maybe they're not. I caution you to watch videos, learn about all the steps, and accurately and honestly assess your person. And decide if you want that in your life, because it's a revolving door, it's a repeated cycle, and it never stops. I just want to mention this, you guys. Please be careful out there, and I'll see you next time.